Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the regular board meeting of the Vallecitos Water District, October 15, 2025. Before we begin, I would like to announce that members of the public may watch the meeting live online by visiting the district's website and clicking the Watch Live icon. However, they will not be able to participate in the meeting remotely. And I've asked our new board member, Tanis Brown, to lead us in the pledge.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Brown. Directors, please indicate your attendance. We are all present. Thank you so much. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
No. And I have been warned, I've got to read this verbatim this time, and this is an important meeting, so I'm going to follow. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda for the regular meeting of the October 15, 2025 regular board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Director Ellithart,
Second.
seconded by Director Kirschbaum. Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Kirsten, do we have any public speakers?
Thank you, President PENNOCK. We've not received any public comments for non-agenda items.
Thank you for that. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Move to approve.
Motion by Director Hernandez,
Second.
seconded by Director Brown. Please vote. Director Brown and Hernandez, did you guys press yet?
Director
Jim?
Hernandez, will you vote? Oh, I'm sorry.
Now we're all in and we're all green. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to, I want to follow this one as well, though. Consent items. Public hearing. Item 2.1 will be a public hearing to consider water service rate changes and request adoption of ordinances establishing rates, rules, and regulations for water service rate increase. Before we open the public hearing, I would like to ask our legal counsel to explain the requirements of Proposition 218 governing this public hearing and the proposed adoption of the water rates and changes.
Thank you, President. This public hearing was set in compliance with Proposition 218. The district mailed a notice of this public hearing to the record owners of properties subject to the imposition of the proposed rates and charges, which are customers of record who are not, and tenants directly liable for the payment of such rates and charges, which are customers of record who are not property owners. The date and time of this public hearing is not less than 45 days after the district mailed the notices. The purpose of the public hearing is for the district board of directors to hear all oral testimony and consider all written protests concerning the proposed rate increases. It is also held to determine whether there is a majority protest to the proposed rates and whether to proceed with the adoption of the proposed rates. Property owners and tenants are not required to provide oral testimony at today's hearing. If you wish, you may simply submit a written protest directly to the board secretary indicating your opposition to proposed rate increases. However, if you wish your protest to be counted, you must submit a written protest prior to the close of the public hearing tonight. Written protests may be submitted during the hearing by delivering the written protest to the board secretary prior to the close of the public comment portion of the public hearing. The public hearing will be closed after the district board of directors has heard and considered all oral testimony on these items. Oral comments do not qualify as written protests. If written protests against the proposed rate increases are presented by a majority of the owners of the identified parcels upon which the charges are to be imposed, or tenants directly liable for the payment of the charges, the district board of directors may not impose the rate increases. If there is no majority protest, the district board of directors may impose the rate increases. Pursuant to state law governing Proposition 218, in determining whether a majority protest exists, only one written protest per parcel will be counted. Thank you.
Thank you, General Counsel. Appreciate that. Thank you again for being here. Okay, the public hearing will be conducted in the following manner. There's 4 steps. 1, district staff will first provide a presentation explaining the proposed rate increases. 2, after the presentation, the District Board of Directors will open the public hearing for any person wishing to speak on this item. 3, after all oral testimony has been heard, the District Board of Directors will close the public hearing and, if needed, have a short recess to determine if a majority protest to the proposed rate increases has been received. Only those written protests submitted prior to the close of the public hearing will be counted. And the fourth item, if you wish to speak on this item, you will be given a maximum of 3 minutes, so we ask that you keep your comments brief and to the point so that we can allow everyone a chance to speak. Our board secretary will be keeping time for each speaker. Thank you. You will be notified when you have reached your maximum time allowed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. To facilitate the discussion, any questions from the speakers will not be answered during the public hearing. Staff will address any questions after the close of the public hearing as needed. We will now provide a brief presentation on the rates. Then I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing. Staff presentation.
Yeah, thank you, President PENNOCK. So the finance stream team is here. They've been working hard for many, many months. Matter of fact, probably close to a year now for this exact public hearing. So no pressure, guys. Take it over.
Take it away, Dream Team.
So you did say brief,
Yes.
maybe not.
Yes.
So thank you, General Manager Compel, President PENNOCK, members of the board. Before I get started, I would like to, James mentioned that a lot of work went into this. And for some of you, you've seen it 2 times. If you're on the Finance Committee, this will be your 3rd time. Members of the public, it may be their 1st time. I do want to recognize some people that have seen this presentation at least 6 times. So can we start the presentation? So for the last 5 years when I've been doing my presentation, I swapped the picture in the top right corner with that of my wife. So in every presentation she's been in there that no one really knew about. So I would like to thank my family, actually. They've seen this presentation at least 6 times. So my wife and my 2 boys. And when my son says, when he says, Dad, that was a very good presentation, it makes you very proud. And it kind of makes all this worth it. So I would like to thank my wife, Donna, and my 2 boys, Ryan and Justin.
Thank you.
So on with the show. So today we are here for the Prop 218 Cost of Service Study public hearing. So we've already went into some of the legal aspects of the Prop 218. It's just a California Constitution that says rates cannot exceed the proportional cost of those rates. When we talk about COSS, it's the cost of service study that's used to allocate those costs and its basis for the rate design. And you'll hear me talk about the average single-family residence, average SFR. Just want everyone to know that we consider the average single-family residence a home with a 5/8-inch meter that uses an average of 13 units of water per month. So the agenda for today, we'll talk about the summary of proposed changes, some of the rate adjustments and key financial impacts. We've already went over some of the legal and strategic framework. We'll talk about some of the cost alignments and the drivers of the costs. Discuss the rate study and impact on the customers. And then we'll do a comparison of the wholesale cost, meaning that what we pay to the San Diego County Water Authority versus what the customer ends up paying on their bill. And then we'll have closing and next steps. So a summary of proposed changes. Just want to make sure that we all know that the rates are compliant with Prop 218, ensuring proportionality, transparency, and defensibility. And the biggest driver is that approximately 75% of our costs are driven by external wholesale agencies. So the San Diego County Water Authority, along with SDG&E. Those are charges that we have no control over whatsoever. The bottom line is that the average single-family residence, again, remember I identified that as a 5/8-inch meter using 13 units of water a month, will see their bill go from $111.49 to $126.22, an increase of 13.2%. And the cost of service study does set the maximums for the annual pass-through of 28% for those external costs that I mentioned and 8% internally. So the calendar, as General Manager mentioned, it's really been almost a year that we've been diving into this. But just recently, the last couple of months, we've gone to the P3 committee on July 21st. On August 22nd, we did mail out the notice of public hearing, which started that 45-day notice period. On September 16th, we updated the Finance Committee on the rates. And 2 weeks ago today, we had the board workshop with the board and they accepted the cost of service study and affirmed the public hearing for tonight, which is where we are on October 15th. And if approved, the new rates will go into effect on January 1st, 2026. The Prop 218 notice does cover calendar years 2026 to 2029, so it is a 4-year cost of service. So really, what is the cost of service study process? It really starts with the financial planning or the budget approved back in sometime in early June. So it's a financial strategy. We have to make sure that we have enough cash reserves, debt service coverage ratio, and other type of ratios established. It also sets what the revenue requirement is, and the revenue requirement is really the driver of the cost of service study. So in the cost of service study, we take that revenue requirement, it goes through a whole bunch of different calculations to come up with the foundation for the compliance of Prop 218. And then it goes into the rate design. Oops. So the rate design, as I mentioned, is it's a 4-year structure, and the rates are adjusted annually, but they do need board approval. So even though we have pass-through amounts in here, we can't just put those through. We will come to the board at least 30 days prior to the implementation of the new rates. So what's the real driver behind the proposed rate changes? Why are we here today? Well, as I mentioned, the biggest driver is that pass-through cost from the Water Authority and SCG&E. About 75% of our costs are uncontrollable costs. So when you look at it, for every 3 quarters that a customer pays out of $1, every dollar, 3 quarters of it goes directly, really right from their hands into San Diego County Water Authority's pocket. That leaves 25 cents of that dollar for all of our capital investment needs and our operating budget. As I mentioned, the proposal is a 4-year term from calendar years 26 to 29. There are some rate guardrails that I mentioned. It sets the maximum rates, and it limits the pass-through to 28% annually on Water Authority and SCG&E, and 8% internally. I want to be clear about that, though. That does not mean the district will raise rates 28% on the Water Authority's charges and 8% internally. We cannot exceed the cost of providing the service. So if for next year, for example, the Water Authority comes through with a 12% increase, we would pass on that portion, the 75% of that, onto the customer. And if our internal costs came through at 4%, let's say, that's the amount that we would request to pass through. And it does require board adoption each year, as I mentioned, 30 days prior to the rate. So I mentioned that the water bill will go from $111.49 to $126.22, which is the 13.2% increase. Director, I think Ellithorpe, I believe, brought up, he'd like to see the sewer portion of that brought in because the majority of our customers are both water and sewer customers. So if you see here, our sewer increase, our sewer bill, we're not projecting any increase this year. So the cost, and if you give me 1 second, I want to change my pointer. So the cost of sewer is $38.99. It's projected to remain the same, so a 0% increase. If you add in the 111 and the $38.99, oops, I think I have to use this. Comes to a bill of $150.48, proposed to go up to $165.21, which is a $14.73 increase, which is all the water. So the average single-family customer bill, water and sewer, would see a little bit less than a 10% increase on their total bill. So the current rates, what I looked at is a different way to slice and dice this increase to see what is really, truly the driving factor. We did mention the Water Authority 75%. I think this shows a very eye-opening causation of this increase. So the bill today is $111.49. As we mentioned, it go up to $126.22. But those 2 columns to the left are the cost components of that 111 and the 126. If you look at our current bill, about $25.50 of the $111 is our costs for the capital that I mentioned and our operating budget. That's the 25 cents out of the dollar approximately. What's really interesting, if you look at the proposed rates, the VWD internal portion is actually going down $2.09, while the Water Authority's portion is going up $16.82. So you can see more than 100% of the increase is due to the Water Authority pass-throughs. So the change from the VWD, we're actually decreasing our portion of the water bill by 8.2%. That's the controllable portion that we have as a district. The Water Authority's portion is going up almost 20% for that combined increase of 13.2%. So what is the reason for that? What are some of the causes of us actually reducing our portion of the bill? Well, part of it is we have discretionary revenue. Discretionary revenue is anything that's basically not rate-related revenue, such as property tax, redevelopment revenue. We have some cell site revenue, so those types of revenues that we can use to offset some of the costs to our customers, and we've done that, and I have a slide that'll show that. And the ability to pass through now the water authority increases. And some of our internal savings. Last time I mentioned one of the big projects that we worked on is the solar project that was installed back in 2020, 2021. It has 2.1 megawatts of capacity. So that over the 4 years has saved the district $491,000, a little over $120,000 a year. Those savings get passed directly back to our customer.
So, one of the other things I mentioned, I think the board's aware of, is I sent out a memo, I think, in August as an update about some of the budget turnaround. So in 2024-25, we're projected to have a $4.5 million deficit. So a budget adopted of negative $4.5 million. We were able to turn that around to a positive $300,000. Part of it are things that were out of our control, but over $1 million of that was internal changes that the district has made. And this year, we've had a projection of close to negative $2.5 million, and we're well on our way of erasing that. Those changes, which equate total, if we accomplish it this year also, is over $7.5 million swing. That also contributes in the fact that now we don't need to require that the revenue. We have that money on hand, and also gets passed along to our customers as real bill savings.
Okay, and as I mentioned, so I did mention the caps, and I want to go a little bit more into detail on this. And I did say that we can only pass through what the actual costs were. So for example, this year, the cap for 2026, when I say this year, I mean 2026. So for the first year, the cap is 28%, but the actual cost from the water authority is only 19.6%. So that's the maximum that will pass through. Internally, I talked about the cap is 8%. Well, we're actually decreasing our portion by 8.2%. And if you take the proportional share of the bill of that, that gets you that combined 13.2% increase. Just for reference, if we were to do no increase, if we were to wipe out this 1473, we would have to reduce our internal portion by 60%. So just for reference. So how's another way to look at the cost attribution breakdown? I have two different sections up here. The top portion is the water authority. The bottom two lines are VWD's cost. The top line in each of them is the commodity, what we pay for actual water molecules. The second line in each of those is the ready to serve or the fixed charges. So if you look just at the highlighted box up there, the water authority's portion of the commodity is increasing 17.4%, and the ready to serve is increasing 29%. So that makes up that 18.9 combined rate. You can't add them, it's proportionality. For VWD, I talked about discretionary revenue, their RDA and property tax. Currently, we use that to offset about 76 cents of Tier 1 water. So that means we're basically selling that water for cheaper than it costs us to provide it, to purchase it, I mean. That we are intending for that discount or that offset to increase by 32 cents. So that is lowering the Tier 1 rate on our end by 32 cents. And our fixed charges will actually go up 60 cents for each of our customers on average of a 2.4% increase. Oops. So some of the key takeaways that the water authority pass-throughs are the primary driver of all the increases. VWC's portion is either stable or declining in some cases. The total bill increase, as I've mentioned a couple of times, is 13.2%. It is consistent with the Prop 218 notice. And the rate structure does remain compliant, equitable, and financially sustainable for the district. So what I wanted to do was show the cost from the water authority over the last, I believe it's 8 years up on here, 7, 8 years, versus what the customer has seen in their bill increase. I do want to note that the axes are on different axes. So the left side is our cost per acre foot, and it's this orange line. And the blue line, the axis is on the right side, and it's the cost per average single-family residence bill. As you can see right here, Our current cost is the $111, proposed to go up to $126. I brought this back all the way down to 2019. I believe, Director Pennock, you asked for a history of what the rate increases have been for the district over that time period. So as you can see, back in 2019, it cost the district an average of about $1,957 per acre foot, increasing to 2026 to a little over $3,000. Back in 2019, the average single-family resident water-only portion of the bill was a little under $90, and it's going up to the $126 that we mentioned. So what that means is that the orange line, the wholesale average increase over that 7-year period has been about 6.5%. The average customer bill increase for the water portion has been 5%, and I believe that was kind of the question you were asking, Director Pennock.
Thank you.
If we include sewer in that, there has not been an increase in sewer since well before 2019 at least. So the average combined bill for our customer has only gone up 3.7% over that same time frame. So that's just a reference point for you.
And one of the things I also want to point out, if you look at the back half of that curve, 2024 to 2026 projection, you can see the cost that we're receiving has dramatically increased. That line has gotten steeper. That's one of the reasons we knew that we couldn't keep our existing rates and be financially sustainable or even equitable for our customers.
And as the general manager mentioned 2 weeks ago, part of that was due to the COVID, that a lot of agencies did not pass through some increases, so put them a little bit behind the curve. So what I wanted to show you, we've talked about hypotheticals, the average single-family residence bill and things like that. I want to show you an actual bill. This is my actual bill. I live in the city of San Diego. I want to kind of show you a little bit of how their bill works. They charge me is bi-monthly every 2 months? Every 2 months I get a bill. So I get 6 bills a year. So I've used 43 units over a 2-month period. My bill was $607 for 2 months. Let me break that down so I can compare apples to apples.
Man, you're taking long showers.
Yes. So what I'm showing here is if I take that bill and almost divide it by half. The one thing I did eliminate, they have a storm drain fee, and it's not fair to compare their storm drain fee, so I took out their big $1.90 when I'm comparing it. So that my 1 month bill is $302.63, and that's using 21.5 units of water then, if you take that 43 and divide it by 2. So what would my bill be if I lived in San Marcos or in the Vallecitos Water District area? So with our current rates, my bill would be $202. That's a difference of almost $100, or 49.2%. I am paying 49.2% more than our customers in Vallecitos. Okay, what about our rate increases? We're going up 13.2%, Mike. So with our proposed increases, my bill in Vallecitos, if I were to use the same amount of water, would go from $202 to $224. But City of San Diego is raising their rates. That $607 you see right here, whoops, let me go back one, is now $682. My $302 per month is now $341 per month. So if you want to compare apples and apples, we're going to compare the $341 to $224. My bill would be $116.50. My bill is, I should say, $116.50 more for the privilege of getting City of San Diego water and sewer service, or almost 52%. And I would argue that our level of service and quality of service is much better than that of the City of San Diego.
Time to move.
But yet we can't get them to move north.
I know.
So that's a real life example. I kind of wanted to personify this because we are going through, as citizens, we are going through a lot of the same thing. We actually are. We're one of the citizens. So I kind of wanted to show our personal thing on this. And now that I kind of feel really bad about myself and how much I'm paying, let's move on to our overall. We talked again about the average single family residence. I wanted to kind of go overall with all of our customers, what they would be seeing. This section is our commodity and fixed charges. The top part is the commodity charges. So we already talked about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and some of the offsets being used. Overall, our entire tiers are going up anywhere from 10 to 13-ish%. So within that 13.2%, of the average single-family residence that I mentioned. The bottom section is the fixed charges, the monthly fixed charges, and they too are going anywhere from 10 to 13-ish%. So that's how, like I said, we get to that 13.2% average increase for the single-family residence. So for this year, we're actually including pump zones into our Prop 218. So I wanted to bring up the pump zones. We have about a total of 22,500 water customers, and approximately 3,000 of them are in pump zones. So they live in higher elevations. So it costs money to pump that water up to higher elevations. So what the pump zones do is we aim to achieve to recoup about 95% of the San Diego Gas and Electric charges, electricity only charges to pump that water up there. No pumps and motors, no capital costs, just 95% of the operating cost of SDG&E only. So the rates, as you see here, will increase, and that's also about 13%. And there is a pass-through maximum for them as well, 28%. And again, just like our costs, we cannot exceed the share of the increase. So if SDG&E comes back next year at 12%, that's the amount that I would bring forward to pass through.
Yeah, and with SDG&E, it's a little different. So they often do 2 rate increases a year. So we'll always catch up on one of the rate increases, and then when they do the second one, we'll fall behind. So really, at the end, and there's no proposal to try and do 2 rate increases to try and catch up with SDG&E a year. So if SDG&E does 2 rate increases a year, we won't hit that 95%, but we'll always catch up every year. So even if you get a report at budget time that says we expect a 8% increase from SDG&E, then the next year you might see a larger increase because they've now adopted 2 additional rate increases. But we'll always bring that and make it transparent for the board and the public, and also reach out to all these 3,000 customers to lay out exactly what's happening.
So in summary, the proposed rate increases meet all requirements under Prop 218, including the proportionality, transparency, and defensibility. Again, the external wholesale agencies account for 75% of our VWD costs, so they're uncontrollable. The average single-family bill will increase to $126, which is the 13.2% that we mentioned. And the cost of service study sets a 4-year rate ceiling with caps of 28 and 8%. Again, not to exceed the actual cost. And the rates also must be approved by the board annually, as I mentioned. So some of the key points: the adjustments reflect years of disciplined internal cost control and transparent planning. The rates do remain capped and structured to protect affordability while ensuring service reliability. And the district does remain committed to long-term financial stability and public accountability. And future rate actions will continue to be grounded in the cost of service principles and legal compliance. And with that, I am done my presentation.
Why, thank you. Your son was right. That was a good presentation, Dad.
Thank you.
Very good job, thank you. Before opening the public hearing, I would like to ask staff to inform the board as to whether all valid legal objections received have been responded to and presented to the Board of Directors.
Thank you, President PENNOCK. Let me just get my script out here real quick, make sure I'm reading it right. So all inquiries were responded to appropriately. We did not have any actual written or legal objections, but everything was responded to appropriately.
I thank you so much, Kirsten. And with that, based on the information, I would like to ask for a motion and a second to proceed with opening the public hearing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Director Kirschbaum,
Second.
seconded by Director Elefthart. Please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much. The public hearing is now open. We will hear from anyone who wishes to speak. Kirsten, do we have any public speakers for this agenda item?
Sorry, I keep on turning my microphone off. I have not received any public speaker slips for this item.
No public hearings. Okay. Is there any public speakers? Just by anybody? Anybody? Well, this is a nice, easy public hearing. Thank you so much.
Question, Director?
Yes.
President, did we receive any written objection?
We'll get to that in the.
Oh, Sorry.
We're almost there, but you're jumping it, but we're almost there. So no written, okay. Seeing no others wish to speak, I am prepared to close the public hearing. But before I do that, I would like to provide anyone who would like to submit or withdraw a written protest the opportunity to do so. Once the public hearing is closed, the District Board of Directors may no longer accept any written protest on proposed rate increases. Are there any remaining written protests to be delivered to the Board Secretary? Nothing in writing, nothing orally? We're moving right along. There being no other persons wishing to address the board, I will now close the public hearing. And at this time, I would like to ask the Board Secretary whether a recess will be needed to tabulate any of those massive results.
No recess needed.
No recess needed. And with that, I would like to ask the Board Secretary to provide the tabulation results for all valid written, as Director Hernandez asked, written protests submitted prior to the close of the public hearing.
Thank you, President Pennock. Prior to the close of the public hearing, we received a total of 5 written protest letters regarding the rates for water service charges. For the proposed rates for the district's water service charges, a majority of the owners of the identified parcels or tenants directly liable for such charges, for example, the number required to constitute a majority protest, would equal 11,277. A majority protest does not exist to the proposed rates for the water service charges.
Thank you. The Board Secretary has advised us that based on the number of valid written protests submitted prior to the close of the public hearing, a majority protest does not exist for the adoption of the proposed rates for the water service charges. The District Board of Directors may now proceed to consider the proposed ordinance to adopt the increases to the district's water service charges. As a reminder, the time for public comment has ended, and the District Board of Directors will not engage directly with any individual customer or member of the public. Do any members of the District Board of Directors wish to speak or call on staff for any clarification with respect to the proposed rate increases? Any questions, comments, concerns from the board? Is this the quickest public hearing I've ever had?
From a 218 standpoint, possibly, yes.
Yeah.
No comments, no questions, wait. Well, then with that, may I request a motion to adopt ordinance number 231. Adopt ordinance number 231. May I have a
Motion to
motion?
approve.
A motion by Director Hernandez,
Second.
seconded by Director Kirschbaum. Please vote.
Thank you.
Motion passes. They call you the dream team for a reason, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I have a question for you, though. Now, what are you going to do now?
I'd probably take up golf. I've never golfed in my life.
Yeah.
Put a for sale sign. You take long showers, though. I was looking at your tier 3. Tier 3 is where that $100 is coming from.
I have 2 boys.
Okay, all right.
Question,
Yes.
statement. I don't believe we've ever had a rate increase with no public speakers.
You're correct for a main 218, but we did have our first SDG&E rate increase the last time with no
Yes.
public speakers, so that's 2 in a row. But we had, and this shows you, we've actually increased our public outreach on this item, provided fact sheets, more information. This staff right here has actually done direct training to our customer service so they could address questions. So I credit staff and their hard work and transparency for it. At least I'd like to think so.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's testament to the staff, to outreach, Chris and the gang, and everybody for reaching out. It truly is a testament because of the transparency there. And people do know, hopefully, we're a nonprofit. We're not out to get money. We're out to provide clean, reliable water. And we do that transparently and truly upfront. And so again, testament to the staff and outreach, yes.
Oh, I was just going to double down on that with, our wholesale rates going up, but showing our internal costs and controls actually going down and allowing our customers to save on that. Unfortunately, with the percentage of our wholesale costs being 75%, we can't offset all those costs, but even what we did made a dent, so.
Thank you to all. And
Thank you
with
for your
that,
time.
moving on to action items. 3.1, water supply update. We'll have a presentation from our Public Information Conservation Supervisor, Chris Robbins.
Yeah, while Chris gets set up with his presentation, I'll just do a little dance here. So as the board knows, quarterly we give a water supply update, which includes state and Colorado water supply information that comes from it. So with that, I'll hand it over to Christopher Robbins.
Thank you.
Thank you, General Manager. President PENNOCK, board members, so the Board of Directors rescinded drought level 1 back on June 5th of 2024. I typically provide an update quarterly of the water supply update. The water year for 2025 was just very average, nothing really high, nothing really low. Previous couple years had been pretty substantial rainfall and snowpack, so some good news, but last year was just very average. To qualify that, however, it was average in the state, but a lot of that precipitation went up in Northern California, where we also had it really, really dry in the lower half of the state. And that distribution unevenness led to, some really kind of catastrophic fires, the Eaton and Palisades fires back in January of 2025. And then sadly, like right after that is when you start to get those atmospheric rivers. And so you've got burned, bare landscape and then water coming on it. So just a really big challenge for the state as a whole. The drought monitor, the recent image is showing California. So the red is very dry, the brown is dry, and the yellow and the white much more average than what you hope to see. Something that's kind of exciting is just yesterday, storms in California, and we got some good snowpack in the Sierras already. So getting snowpack in October is exciting to see. The Northern Sierra 8-station index that you can see right there, it's showing it's at 96% for this date in history. So, that's off to a good start. That's good information. That's what we want to see. I read some articles where it indicated my report was, I put the report together a week ago, but the things I've seen more recently is, there's places where they got 3 feet of snow in the Sierras. So that's really good news for the state of California. The reservoir storage, this late in the season, in the fall, they're all looking very good. They're all typically above their historical percentages for this specific time of year. So that's a good indicator for the state as well. Colorado River, the upper basin precipitation, there was nothing to report. So it's just kind of an NA figure because they just didn't have anything to report. Lake Mead, 32% full. Lake Powell, where President PENNOCK's been a few times, 29% full. So he's seen that up close and personal. Locally in San Diego County, driest water year in nearly 10 years. And, that's a concern. That's a picture from, hiking San Diego County, and you can see the dryness on the hillsides there. It looks a little concerning, but we did get some rain just the other day, so that hopefully will help out with some of the concerns about fire issues and so forth.
Is this calendar year?
So the water year starts on October 1st and goes through September 30th. So it's sort of as the rainy season starts, which is why it's done that way. Gotcha. So in coming here in October, it gives me a chance to wrap up on the water year and then also start to look at the new water year. Some good news, the Water Authority notes that the region has plenty of water to meet demands. So, even though there's, concerns up and down the state and also at the Colorado River, locally we're in good shape and we have water supplies. The 3-month temperature outlook looks a little warm for us, a little above average. And then the precipitation outlook equal chances either way, so we will see what happens. So, but a lot of below average and a lot of the west there, as you can see, over the next 3 months. So this is just an information item report, and I will return in January with an update on water supplies, but I'll take any questions.
Thank you. As always, great presentation. Kirsten, do we have any public speakers?
Thank you, President PENNOCK. We've not received any public speakers for this item.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Comments? That was a great job. And again, this is for informational purposes
Thanks.
only. Thank you. Are you going to be like a weatherman on TV? Have you ever? You'd be a good weather guy, a meteorologist, I guess they call him now.
I'll tell you a story sometime.
Okay, I want to hear that story. All right, thank you. Action item 3.2 will be a request to approve position reclassifications and adopt resolution number 1705 to approve the annual salary schedule. We'll first have a presentation from our Director at Administrative Services. That's your
Yes.
treatment. Denise, thank you so much.
Go ahead and take it away, Denise.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, directors. So per the employee handbook, position reclassifications due to significant job duty changes require board approval. And tonight, I will be presenting 3 of those. Our first area for reclassification is in our engineering department. The issue we're having is we have 2 vacant senior engineer positions. They have remained unfilled despite recruitment efforts. We have done analysis, and we have actually had our Director of Engineering, Elizabeth Lopez, call her counterparts at other agencies to find out what kind of recruitment is going on with those engineering high-level positions, and they too are struggling to find qualified candidates. So our proposal is to reclassify and consolidate into an engineering manager position. The goal is to attract candidates seeking leadership roles and to expand the applicant pool. The second position that we're looking to reclass is in our wastewater area, wastewater plant operator. So the issue is we have 2 failed recruitments in 2025 for the operator 1 and 2. And so our proposal for this position is to add an entry-level operator in training classification to create a new career path. So it would be an operator training 1 and 2. The third position that we're requesting to be reclassified is in our finance department. The issue is that the position is a finance assistant, and the role and scope has increased to a technical level. It was initially as an assistant clerical. The duties have increased to include budget and audit assistance, training staff on purchasing procedures, testing financial software, and back up to other financial positions. So our proposal for this position is to reclassify from a finance assistant to a technician. The goal here would be to align the title and pay with actual job duties to avoid the position working out of class. All the changes support strategic staffing, labor market responsiveness, and internal development. Fiscal impact is, for the engineering position, it is $182,000 savings. The wastewater plant position is a $14,000 savings, and the finance position is a $7,000 increase. So the net impact would be $175,000 in total savings. This request supports our strategic plan and tactical initiatives, which is our strategic focus area Workforce Excellence Strategy 3.2, Employee Recruitment and Retention. These reclassifications align with our long-term staffing strategy by emphasizing strategic workforce planning while responding to the current job market, and taking into consideration the needs of the district. Our recommendation for tonight is to approve the reclassification of 2 senior engineer positions to an engineering manager, to approve the reclassification of operator 1-2 to include the operator in training. Number 3 is to approve reclassification of the finance assistant to the finance technician. And number 4 is to adopt the resolution updating the district salary schedule for CalPERS requirements. I am available to answer any questions, and we also have the directors from each of the areas here to answer any questions you may have for the specific position reclassifications. Thank you.
And one more thing to add, the board may adopt it all in one following the staff's recommendation, unless there's a reason the board can separate out each one of these. So,
Okay, thank you. Excellent job, as always. And I know you love to answer questions, so hopefully we have a lot of them coming your way.
Oh, gosh, I'll just call up
Kirsten.
my people.
Do we have any public speakers, Kirsten?
Thank you, President Pennock. We've not received any public speaking slip for this item.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Yes, Director Brown.
Questions?
Dennis, turn on your mic.
Yes, sorry.
Far right.
Oh, the middle one. No,
This one. Oop,
Yep, that's him.
now, is it working? So, I'm new. So sometimes when you put two jobs together and hire somebody, there's more than one person's
Duties?
responsibilities.
Yes.
Will other people in that engineering department have to pick up some slack?
So we currently also have a vacant associate engineer position available. That was another reclassification approved with the budget. We haven't opened that recruitment and started advertising it because I would like the supervisor to pick their own staff. So that's a new position to the department. So I envision that that new position will also help with the workload.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is, with the intern, that would be somebody in training for that position, does that mean that they would have to somehow meet the qualifications or the certifications that they would need during their internship?
So it wouldn't be an internship, we would actually be hiring them as part of payroll, and it will be part of the series. So they would be an operator in training, they probably won't have their certificate, they'll probably have the education, and we'll be training them Vallecitos way and helping them go through their certifications to get to whatever goal they're
So they
going
would,
towards.
I mean, here's my question, does Vallecitos require certification now in order for them to get the job?
Not, so for the CW, for the collections and the wastewater, the operator in training would be able to come in and not have those certifications right away. And a lot of times for the one, we do normally, I think we post it without having any certifications.
Okay, so eventually they would have the certification they
Correct,
need.
yes,
Okay.
because we are very into professional development.
yeah.
So we would have that expectation that they would come in and
course.
become a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a lead, and, make their way up is
Right.
our ultimate goal for our staff.
So are you going to watch that for future opportunities to bring people in, maybe?
So we would be starting with this department, but I can see this going and rolling over into other departments. So
Okay.
water production, mechanical, there's many areas that we would be able to, over in operations, that we could look at.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Okay?
She loves it. Thank you. Any question?
Director Brown asked most of my questions, but I just wanted to further dive into that to the engineering position. So, is this kind of unusual for a senior engineer to be doing both capital and development projects at the same time?
Not necessarily. The city I came from, the water and wastewater group, their group works on both capital and development. So I think it's just specific to the agency.
Real quick, the new position wouldn't be a senior engineer. It'd be combined, it'd be paid higher at a higher level, require a higher level of experience than the senior engineer. So it's more of a principal engineer level, or what we're calling engineering manager level, which has both, hopefully capital and in this case, development experience.
Okay, and then, so I also had a question about the operator position.
Just bring 2 chairs up there.
Moving around here. So you weren't able to find people that had the qualifications for that position, and so you're putting it to be like in more of an entry-level position?
Correct. Yeah, we, as a director, oh my gosh, I forgot your name.
That girl over
Yeah,
there.
as she said, we've had 2 failed recruitments this year, and the candidate pool was not strong. While they met minimum qualifications, when it came down to Vallecitos fit, if they were the right people for the job, it didn't seem that way. And we've had multiple interns over the past couple of years with the San Diego County Water Authority program that have worked at Meadowlark that applied, but since they didn't have their grade 1 certification, they didn't meet minimum qualifications for the job. Whereas they had worked in the plant, they fit staff perfectly. Everybody wanted them to push them through, but we just couldn't. So going this path opens it up to a much broader pool of candidates to where we can grow them in, you know, as she said, the Vallecitos way, and also creates a solid career path of steady advancement where, and it gives them goals.
Yeah, and just to clarify on that, so if you bring in an operator in training, an OIT, the way we have our classifications, once they have experience and they get their certifications, they can qualify to become a 1, and then if they get more experience, more certs, a 2.
It's a
They
journey
can move-
level, a
They can
journey
move up
level.
that ladder
They can move it.
automatically. They don't need somebody to vacate a position to move up that ladder. They themselves can move up that ladder by their work ethic and their certifications.
Well, I agree. This is a really creative solution to some problems that we've been having. And I think culture and fit is really important too. So I appreciate you recognizing that we don't want to just hire the bare minimum. And I agree with Director Brown that, you know, this is a really great kind of pilot plan to start, you know, more entry-level people and train them. And then they're trained exactly the way we want them here at Vallecitos. So thank you for your work. I'll be supporting this.
Yes.
Thank you. And before you play musical chairs with Elizabeth, so when somebody leaves the Water Academy at Palomar, is that an operator and trainer? Are they qualified to get this position? If it's somebody from that, you know, the one in Water Academy that we have over there with, who's the professor?
Oh,
Sheba.
Sheba.
Yeah, Sheba, yeah. So somebody like that, would that be somebody to step into this, or are they not yet qualified after that academy?
They could be, it would depend on the path or the certifications they had through the water program. If it was the wastewater technology, then yeah, they could probably fit in, but if it's the water technology, maybe not. It would just kind of depend on their experience and education.
Okay, interesting, okay, thank you. Any other questions? No, I agree with what Director Kirschbaum said, the creative solutions is awesome. I like thinking outside the box and making these changes, and savings is always nice as well. So thank you, appreciate that. Any other discussion? If not, I request a motion for the adoption of Resolution 1705. Motion by Director Hernandez. I can second that, and please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. That is the end of the action items. Moving on to reports. General Manager report.
Yeah, just a quick one tonight. 3 dates to remember. The October 20th, the site visit at Montiel. I believe 4 of the 5 board members may be going to that. So I make sure, I believe Jason and Elizabeth are coordinating with you guys on it. October 21st is the Finance Committee. Right now, that's tentative, so for the Finance Committee members, but it should be a discussion of the audit. So even though the Finance Stream Team is done with the 218, so they were done with the budget, now they're done with the 218, now they have to work on the audit, so that's the next step for them.
You said that's still tentative?
It's still tentative, yeah, we're gonna go move forward for, or are we a go? Yeah, we're waiting for auditors, so it may get rescheduled, but that's tentative.
What was the date?
The
22?
21st, but if we get rescheduled, we'll send out information and coordinate with the board member, with the committee members. And last but not least, October 30th is our Water Academy, so I know we have 1 board member who's attending, and the other board members are encouraged to stop by the morning session where they could address the citizens and/or for lunch. I don't know what the final count was, but we had 91 people signed up. 91 people signed up, which is a record. So if you're planning on showing up and addressing the crowd, it's probably a good one to do so at.
And share with us the time on that?
So I don't remember the crowd. You know what we'll do is I'll send out a schedule
Okay.
of the Water Academy to the board, either later this week or early next week.
Okay, so yeah, I would like, so who's just,
Me.
you're going? You're going, and then, yes, yeah, I think I'd like to at least attend.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we'll send out the schedule.
Perfect,
So
thank you.
it's probably, don't quote me on it, but probably 9-ish in the morning and probably around 12 for lunch, but I'll send out the schedule
Great.
for sure.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. District Legal Counsel.
Yeah, just very briefly, General Counsel Gilpin, who'll be at the next meeting, is going to be providing an update on SB 707, which was recently adopted. It creates significant changes to the Brown Act, particularly with respect to teleconferencing. So that's just a preview to let you know that we are on top of it, that General Counsel Gilpin will give you a full briefing on it at the next meeting.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. San Diego County Water Authority.
So there was, the big meeting is next week, but there was a capital improvement workshop last week. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend it. I reviewed the slides, and it was just a presentation of their capital improvement plan. So similar to what we do here once a year, but with older infrastructure and bigger dollars, kind of. So, but that's online on the county's website for anybody in the public or my colleagues who are interested. And I will have a report of the meeting next time, so.
All right. Thank you for that. Encina Wastewater?
Yes, we had our capital committee meeting this morning, and we discussed the project status of the primary sediment basin rehab, and also a presentation on the WEFTEC conference, which a couple of our members, staff members attended. We also approved as-needed professional service agreement for their SCADA system, and we rehired enterprise adoption for another 5 years, and with a potential 3-year extension. But we think we'll be done with the whole program in 2, so I think we don't need to worry about the extension. And that's the end of the report.
Thank you.
I just have a question. What is WEFTEC?
WESTEC is a conference held annually for sewer districts that display, they have conferences in between meetings, and also they have an exhibit floor for various products, and they range from blowers and dryers and all kinds of pieces of equipment.
It's the largest wastewater probably conference for, manufacturers and distributors.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's usually a technical conference staff goes to. That and the exhibit hall is probably the most comprehensive exhibit hall for wastewater products that I've ever seen. It's held in Chicago 1 year, and then they alternate to New Orleans, although I've heard rumors that they may not go to New Orleans, so.
What is the acronym?
WEFTEC, I don't know.
Water Environment.
Water Environment Federation,
Water
Technology, something,
Okay.
yeah, so.
All right, thank you for the update.
Thank you. And Encina Waste also, so those that don't know, both Jim and I, both Director Hernandez and I serve on the Encina Wastewater Board. He sits on the capital improvement
Yes.
committee. I sit on the Policy and Finance Committee. We met yesterday, I think, and we just talked about the real estate policy that we have there. There's about 30 acres south of Encina, and it's just vacant land right now. And so we talked about how to utilize that better and how to change our policies there to have some type of, like we're doing with the Hillside Project, how to bring in some additional funds so we can relieve some wastewater costs. We just talked about changing the real estate policy there to allow people to develop and possibly utilize that area, about 30 acres south of the site. So that's what we did there as well. Standing committees. Anybody meet? No standing committees. Directors' reports on meetings, conferences, seminars attended. And if there is none, that's the end of the reports. And if it's the end of the reports, any other business? Comments, future agenda items? If not, at 5:50, 1 hour on a public hearing.
I'm sorry, I just had
I'm sorry. Turn your mic on.
Director Brown.
30 seconds.
Okay.
So I get an email from the Solana Center in Encinitas, and they are having a sale on their 50-gallon rain barrels right now for $95. So I don't know if ours, if we sell them cheaper than that or if we sell them, but it would be good for people to know.
Yeah, we don't sell them, but it's something that if we could probably push out for people who are interested in them, so.
That is, and I think of the P3 committee's meeting, I think that might be a good one to bring up. That information is good for Chris Robbins and for us.
There's also a speaker series going on at Cal State San Marcos at their Arts and Lectures series for the fall. And the one on October 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the ballroom is called Protecting and Restoring Regional Waterways. So I thought I'd go to that and be kind of interesting to find out what they have to say.
Thank you. Good information. And I look forward to a report from that. That's awesome. Thank you. Any other comments? If not, this meeting is adjourned at 6 o'clock. Thank you.